Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a whole new place where we talk about gossip indoctrination. Is it gossiping or is it sharing useful information? Join two non practicing Amish people for your bi weekly gossip sessions. Let us begin to demonstrate by example how to share gossip the right way, the Amish way. As a reminder before we begin, this live may discuss trauma of all types of abuse. Viewers and listeners may, may become distressed. If this live stream causes you distress, please cease listening until you're able to listen again. And of course, you can always seek support from trusted folks and qualified people. As well, the guests on our live streams may not share all the values of the Misfit Amish, and they may or may not. We don't know. Anyways, hi Barbie. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Mm, well, I heard some things this week. Have you heard anything this week?
Well, not anything specifically that I'm thinking of.
Did you know that so that Linda and Kay, these women went out and they were talking to worldly people after they left the church, and they were talking to these worldly people talking about what domestic violence looks like in Amish and Mennonite communities.
Wait, so Linda and who else?
Okay.
Okay, they are born Amish people. Who are they?
Oh, Linda was born Old Order Amish in Lancaster, PA. And Kay was born Old Order Mennonite in PA, and then they moved to Wisconsin and they joined the Nationwide Fellowship Mennonites.
So, what were they saying about domestic violence in the Amish?
Well, they even had it on a Zoom. They had it on those computers.
Oh, wow.
And
Very worldly.
very worldly.
Very wieldy.
Hmm. And then they were like talking about the the dynamics that happen and what the church can do that makes it very unsafe. It was very I found it interesting.
So, okay, I need more information. So,
So like
they're
what?
okay. What were they saying about domestic violence in the Amish?
One, that it happens, and two, not only does it happen, these are some of the factors that make it I don't know, they make it very difficult for people to seek resources to escape domestic violence in these communities because there's just such a lack of what do you call it? Lack of trustworthy people to reach out to, and people frown upon it if you um, if you go and you seek support outside of the community.
In some churches, it's also next to impossible. It's not just hard; it's almost impossible. I would say.
Yeah, but they were women and they were speaking in like a teaching role. They did this through college. Like this isn't done through like a women's community and Northwestern University in Wisconsin. So this is a college course that if people went and paid for it, they could get continuing education credits for it.
Uh, well, I like it. Sounds good to me.
I
We
like it
need more
too.
education about that.
I think we need more Amish women to speak up.
But I'm sure the people in their communities do not like it.
Do we care if they like it?
No, no. I mean, they're obviously not gonna like it. We don't care.
I mean,
But it
one of
kind of makes me. I
kind of
kind
makes
of wonder what they're saying about it, though.
I mean, they did say one of the things they did say is that men hold authority, women are expected to be submissive.
Oh. Do we think that's true? Is that really true?
I would say that's true. Based on my life experiences, that is true. 100%, 1000%. It is true. That is the gospel truth.
Okay, well, yeah, it's definitely true. But, yeah, it's definitely true. It's just tiring because, like, that's the obvious truth. Like, it's so tired to hear it all the time.
They also talked about the limited access to education and information. They talked about systems that view families as peaceful, moral, and tightly knit.
Okay, sure. Sure.
Sure. Yeah. They had a lot of really interesting content. I think it was really good. For me, I felt like it was really good. But I imagine that if I was in the church still, if I was still practicing the Amish way of life, I don't know how that would sit. Like, would it sit with me the same way as my grandmother's, like, the grandmother that I'm supposedly like, that one? Would it sit with me the same way that her voice did? Or would it be like, oh my God, sie sprach kein Verstand mit sie. There's
Can't
just
believe
no,
they did this.
yeah.
Well, okay. So it's interesting for me and probably for you to now think about what I would do if I was still Amish. Like I have all this knowledge currently about domestic violence. Um but I know that I was not informed when I was still Amish and I wouldn't have the information that I do now. So I wonder if I would speak out to and stick up for these women? Or would I kind of be like, no, they need to hush up?
Mit my beta fussy. Or oh, you're just gonna send your unsolicited prayers, or maybe you'll write in the circle letter about it, or maybe you write a letter and then you write a special letter that you put in a special
Oh
envelope
my
and you
god.
write burn after reading on it.
Did you did you get those letters? Like so I get the circle letters but the like once my cousin also wrote a letter just for me inside of the letter. Did that ever happen to you?
Yeah, yeah, that's how it goes. This is part of how we find out that information. But then, like, the other thing is, you know, imagine like what type of church district we're living in. Are we living with a bishop that has like an alcoholism problem, or a bishop who is like, the stricter I am, the holier we are, and we're the right way. We're the only church district that does things the right way. Like, imagine, do you think that would impact any of it?
Yes. It's actually kind of crazy how, like, no Amish community is the same. We, I mean, there are similarities, but there are so many different Amish communities, and we are all so different. And basically, a man with power and money could just go start his own church, and everyone, he like rules.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I dare say he's the king,
Oh my
but
God.
kind of.
So here's a thought. You're talking about, I don't know if I dare say he's the king. So you know the C word? And you know that I've
Oh,
publicly
uh,
said I don't call the Amish a cult?
oh my god, I have a good story about that.
Go ahead. Let's hear your
Okay,
story.
okay, so this is off topic, but like for context, I have a neuromuscular disease and go to doctors a lot. Um, this is from a doctor, a neurologist, a while ago, so I can talk about it. Not in my life anymore. Okay, she brought. This is also. I don't refer to the Amish as this. I don't use cult anymore with non Amish people. But back then I still did. So, so it is in my medical records that I grew up Amish, which is important. It needs to be in my medical records. But she brought it up to talk, not because she wanted to relate it to my medical stuff, but because she was curious and wanted to ask me questions and all that stuff. So, 20-year-old me says, yeah, the Amish are actually like we are a cult. And then, and then, guess what she does? She goes, no, mind you, this is a neurologist. Like, this is not a private care doctor that, like, this doctor is important to me. So, at the time, she was super important to me. So I say they're a cult, and she says, no, you don't know what a cult is. They're not a cult.
And what makes a neurologist an expert on what constitutes a cult?
First of all, she should not have. That was so wrong of her. That was so unprofessional.
Uh, I, shall we talk about bedside manner?
Yeah, no
Yeah.
shit.
What kind of bedside manner was that?
Like, I've definitely had doctors bring up the fact that it was Amish as it pertains to my medical stuff. Um, but I really hate it when they do, when it doesn't, when they're just curious. And they just want to say, no, I know more than you do.
As if you didn't live Amish.
Yeah, exactly.
As if as if you don't know anything about your Amish life. I mean, your opinion is your opinion and your perspective, and that always remains true. We're all experts on our own experiences in the
Eh,
world.
yep.
Despite what this neurologist thought, I just want to point out that this is a common occurrence, Barbie. I have heard many people have talked to me about this, where they seek out medical care for whatever context, and then because of whatever is going on with them, then they have to tell their medical provider, well, I grew up Amish. Because there's an
Yeah,
ethnocentric portion. We can't outrun the fact that we have Amish genetics when we're born in the church.
exactly.
And then what happens is these medical providers will gaslight us about our own life, as if like that didn't matter. And
Uh,
because they hold a degree, you may be an MD and this, and you may have multiple degrees and multiple awards for your work as a neurologist. But you know what? You don't know what it's like to live Amish. Unless you were born and raised Amish, you don't know.
yeah, no. You don't know anything. Even if you were neighbors with Amish people, we're very secretive. C
Oh,
word.
oh, oh. Are you suggesting that The people who are like armchair anthropologists aren't really knowledgeable about what they think they know.
Dare I?
Mm. I always think it's interesting because you're touching on this thing that I will beat a dead horse, okay? That is a metaphor. I would not actually beat a horse, but here's the thing. I've talked about this multiple times. I had a doctor in the mental health profession who was a provider in the mental health profession who we were having this conversation about groups that have like the persecution complex. And I said that when people have a confirmation bias about the persecution complex, they will deliberately create situations and environments to feed that confirmation bias so they can remain
Yep.
in their cognitive dissonance so that they're okay being part of that group.
Yep.
And he
Yep.
said, and he knew I was born and raised Amish. That's the part that really got me. He knew I was born and raised Amish. And he starts waxing and waning poetic about Amish butter.
Yeah, that is so common. Way too common.
Way too common.
Not just butter, quilts, any
Yeah.
kind of food. What else?
Well, I actually have a provider, a doctor, an MD, who this is the not the norm, but I'm gonna talk about it because I think it's so important. Who didn't just get a copy of my book about growing up Amish, he read it
Okay. Yeah,
and he
that's
talked to me about it. And like whenever we have conversations about managing my medical conditions, I don't have to ask this doctor to like factor in or to consider like these things. This doctor does it. This is what trauma informed care should look like for people.
yeah. Yeah.
And never once, like never once, and I've had the same doctor for like 5 years. Never once has this doctor ever waxed and waned poetic about some perceived Amish goods or even about Rumspringa or when I tell him about certain things that impact my medical care. Never once has he ever gaslit me about any of those things.
Is it bad that I wanna. Like, I know that should be the bare minimum and the standard,
Hmm.
but I kind of want to give him kudos.
Right? Right.
Cause, like, I definitely have medical professionals too that are. Well, I have a lot of medical professionals. My other neurologist, like, she never romanticizes or glamorizes anything about the Amish. Like, I never have to worry about getting bombarded with glamorization or anything with her, but a lot of my medical professionals, they cannot help themselves. They have to say, they have to start with the glamorizing stuff. So I've kind of just made it a rule to, because I have physical therapists, nurses, home health aides, like people I see daily, and not just a doctor. Yes, I see doctors too, but not just a doctor every couple months or a couple weeks.
Hmm.
Like I see these people daily or weekly, so like in order for me to not go insane, I just have to tune it out or not engage, not talk to them about the Amish.
Oh,
Cause
yeah.
if I were to engage with them, um, like then No, I just can't. They just talk more and more, about the glamour, whatever they want to glamorize about the Amish.
Well, it's just not even. I'm gonna tell you the real thing. It's like the same thing as like when I was growing up, and I was told about Donald Crable that we don't even bother trying to explain anything to him because they're so committed to this specific narrative that they won't include us in their writings, in their academic articles anyways. So it's not worth your energy to even engage with them.
Yeah. Is Donald Crabell still alive?
I think he's still alive, but there's a couple of researchers
He's an
like him.
older guy, right? I don't
Yes.
know too much about him except, he has some messed up stuff he says about the Amish.
Yeah, he's still alive. And yes, he has some messed up stuff he says about the Amish.
It's super annoying though that we can't just be ourselves, and talk about our childhoods, cause every other American, like their childhood is important to them and they talk about it,
Well, it's part of
but
how they
we
connect
kind of
with
have to
people.
shut up.
Yeah, we kind of have to shut up, but that's part of how people connect with each other.
Exactly.
You know,
So, um, what this why it's difficult for us to make, for me to make friends with pe- people who were never Amish.
funny you
I'm
should
sorry
mention
to say.
that. Funny you should mention that.
So actually, um, I told myself earlier this year I'm gonna tell more about my childhood because it's not fair that I have to shut up about that part, and it makes me resent some of the people around me, and I'm like, yeah, this has to stop. I need to talk about my childhood and my life. So I did that for a while. I think I think I'm ready to shut up again because I am tired again of people just glamorizing. So I think I'm okay with just, yes, it's not that fun shutting up about my childhood, but I think it's better than listening to the glamorizing sometimes.
Does it feel like nails on a chalkboard when you hear that glamorizing sometimes?
Oh my god! That's where my head needs to go when I listen to these people talk.
Like, I literally, when people start romanticizing the Amish, part of me tunes out. I can't. I can't listen to it.
No,
And half the time I don't even want to engage in a conversation with them. Why would I want to
no,
connect with people
absolutely not.
who refuse to hear anything that I say about the culture itself? And I'm not even saying that all Amish people are bad. I'm saying that Amish are people.
Yeah, exactly.
And the reason that we're talking about gossip is because, one, gossip is essentially just sharing of information, right?
Yeah.
I have never, not in my time working for the federal government or when I was like in the military. So when I was in Europe, I was employed over there because of the military. But anyways, I'm here in Colorado now, but in all the time, all the people that I've known, I have never known another group of people that shares information better. I am telling you, like people leave all this
Exactly.
stuff out, and I'm just like, wait, but I have more questions.
Exactly. So an interesting conversation for us sometime would be like, why are we so good at gossip, but we're also good at shutting up about certain things? I don't know about you, but my family is like, uh, we know how to just not talk about certain things, forbidden things.
Maybe because it's a cultural norm. there's a line and you're allowed to talk, but only within these parameters. And then if you go outside the
Oh,
parameters, then you can end up in trouble with the church. So
that is true.
think about this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the Amish woman who sacrificed her child to God because of the delusional,
Oh my god.
that
Yeah.
Ruth Miller, she
Yeah.
she she drowned a 4-year-old child. Every I bet money on it. The day that hit the news, not even like even before it hit the news, that was spread through Amish community.
Oh, oh yes.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure. I am sure. Like it is actually insane how many times, like people, like non-Amish Americans out here will tell me the Amish don't even have cell phones or TV. How does information spread so fast? Like it travels so fast in the community. I'm like, yes. We talk to each other like a lot.
We do. We talk to each other a lot, and then we have conversations about things, and then we're like, oh, but you know, see, like the whole thing about talking, the point about talking about Linda and Kay, the reason we were talking about them is because that could be viewed as something very bad in the Amish community, but we're non practicing people, and we get to decide what we think about that. In my opinion, that is amazing. I want to see more of that.
Me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
In the same token, then talking about some of these other topics, well, these are things that matter to us. These are things that we experience in our lives as we go about the world as non practicing people. And when we talk about medical care, we can't tell the stories of people that have talked to us in private in confidence. That's not our place to tell their experiences. But you know what we can do?
We can talk about our experiences.
That's right. You know,
And
you.
that is so fun
Oh, it is so
that
fun.
that I get to do that now. Cause at one point, you you know, when I was still actively Amish, we we aren't supposed to talk too much about our certain experiences.
And we're also not supposed to talk too much about experiences that haven't been approved by, men
Yeah,
or whoever.
those parameters that you
The,
were talking
the
about.
parameters. Yeah, we aren't supposed to talk about that to people outside the church.
I'm so glad you told me about that. I never thought about that, but I was like wondering why we are so good at spreading information, but like there are so many secrets or things that we just don't discuss. But that is absolutely true. Like we
Oh,
have,
let me talk about where one of the origins of the parameters comes from. Did you
yeah,
know that in many Amish churches, when you get baptized into the church, you're essentially making a spoken or even a non spoken promise that you will keep church business only to church, baptized church members and only with other Amish that you fellowship with. Like if mid if when we Medina net mitzi, then like if we don't fellowship with that specific type of Amish, we would get in trouble with the church for sharing information with
yeah,
people from that type of Amish because it's outside of the allowed parameters of what
yeah,
what our freedom of speech looks like. This
yeah,
comment though, thank you, Tom. I'm gonna read it because it's kind of important, I think. He says Eric Wessner runs Amish America on the web. He is not Amish. He lives mainly in Poland with his Polish grandmother. He is American. I prefer to hear directly from both of you who were born in an Amish community. You know,
yeah.
thank you
We
for
love
that.
to hear that.
We appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, we love to hear that.
Yeah. That really makes this worthwhile. Should we say our final thoughts about this venture before we gather again in 2 weeks?
Um,
Or do
okay.
we? I'm sorry. I can make the whole announcement that mit mit sammankommen 2 Wochen Barbie det has för normal me have
Okay.
what's the has abilities. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't remember what I was gonna say, honestly.
Oh, final thoughts.
Uh, listen, listen to born Amish women, I guess.
That's some sound sage advice. You know what else I would say? Look, I'm not here trying to bash people. What I'm trying to do is to have conversations about the very real issues that many of us face. And,
Yeah.
believe it or not, the romanticizing of Amish people actually negatively impacts practicing Amish people.
Oh my god, so much. So much.
And one of the things that many people may not realize is that Amish people share information. And I think perhaps, maybe, it might shock some people to know that there are many different types of Amish. Some Amish, they own cell phones. Other Amish, they own phones in the shack on the side of the
Yeah.
road. Other Amish just borrow their neighbor's phone. So whenever people tell you the Amish don't have phones, well, maybe they don't, but do they have access to phones?
You know, some Amish, the I don't know the appropriate word for this, but we would have said higher Amish.
Yes.
You know, some of them have cell phones, like literal touch screen phones
Mm-hmm.
that they like scroll on the
Uh-huh.
daily.
I lived in a
So
settlement.
they have phones in their pockets. Some of them.
I lived in a settlement that now has cell phones for business, but I digress.
Yeah,
Anyways,
for
huh?
for business quotes.
For
Put
business
quotes
in
in that.
quotation marks, okay? Anyways, this has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for having it. I can't wait until we convene again in 2 weeks. Um, as always, like, comment, and share. Thank you, Barbie, for this delightful insight into what's going on in your world.
Yeah, it was a fun conversation. Can't wait until the next
Um,
time.
I want to thank all of our guests and our Patreon subscribers. Thank you so much. This has been produced by the Misfit Amish. And until next time, live your best lives. Have a wonderful weekend. Oh, and before I go, one more thing. There's going to be a singing in Holmes County, Ohio, where you may publicly attend a singing with me and other people like me this in the next 5 days, something like that. Keep up on social media. We'll make an announcement. Bye.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye.